Hello there. Welcome to another week of Language Bites. I'm Cata, your host for this couple of minutes, in which together we're going to explore some common mistakes. Now, these are very varied. We're going to go over some grammar mistakes, some vocabulary mistakes, some pronunciation mistakes. So make sure to follow along. And why not drop some in the comments if there are some mistakes you've been struggling with? We might make a video about it. So let's address this intrusive this intrusive definite article. Why is it intrusive? The technology is changing the world. It would be much more suitable to simply omit it and say technology is changing the world. However, in a sentence such as the following, the technology in this project is amazing, the is appropriate, is all right. Well, the reason for this has to do with whether we are talking about technology in general or not. When we are addressing this noun in a general way, as saying technology is changing the world, because it's an abstract noun, it doesn't need, or because it's an uncountable noun, let's say, it doesn't need the definite article. We're talking about it in general. However, in the second example, the technology in this project is amazing. I am talking about a kind of technology in particular. It's not any technology, it's the technology in this project. What's amazing. So, bear it in mind, think about it for a second. Am I talking about this now in a general way or in a much more concrete one? I am defining it. If you are defining it, then you need the definite article, the defining article. Otherwise, omit it. Now, some confusing verb patterns. For example, saying I avoid to talk about politics when talking would be much more appropriate. Let's discuss about the project when perhaps we don't need the preposition. I depend on my team instead of I depend on my team. Now, whether the verb has to be followed by the to infinitive or the ing, whether it needs preposition or not, or the kind of preposition it needs, you will find it in a dictionary. Become friends with it. That's my lifelong advice. Become friends with dictionaries, or well, practice. But I'm sure that if you check your reliable dictionary, you will find these structures. Bear in mind whether the verb you're about to use is followed by the to infinitive or by ing forms. It may be, so it's better to be safe than sorry. So check or check out our video on it. Whether the verb follows preposition or not can be confusing for us because perhaps many verbs take preposition in Spanish but don't in English, or the other way around. And the kind of preposition can also be confusing for us because depend of in Spanish would be depende de, but in English it's on. So don't trust your mother tongue, I guess. Now, let's stop overusing very. Let's give very a break. We have other adjectives. English is very rich. Instead of saying very tired, take it to the next level exhausted. I'm worn out. Very bad. It was awful. Instead of saying very beautiful, she was gorgeous. Instead of saying very big, it was massive. It was huge. Very boring, dull, simply. Hmm? Now, let's address some pronunciation. I have two tips for you to take into account. The first one is the pronunciation of ed endings, another topic for which we have a video. Now, remember that walk will be pronounced as walked. When we have a voiceless sound k at the end, the ed will be pronounced as t, walked. But when we have a D before the ED or a T, it's going to be pronounced as id. Decided. Now you know. And this one is Also confusing for us Spanish speaking people because these sounds or these letters are the same. V and B are pronounced in the same way or very, very similarly, whereas in English they're absolutely different. For the V sound, we need to put our upper teeth, this, here in our lower lips. It's a very slight touch. It's the same place where you would put or where you would place your teeth to pronounce the F. Well, stay there and say V. V. It's the same place. One without vibration, the other one causes vibration. V. Now, the B sound is very similar to that of the P sound. See how I place my lips and B. I need to have a full closure of my mouth here. Tighten them for a second. P and B. So, very and berry. I'm very busy buying berries. Mhm. You have plenty of these. You've got vest and best, voice and boys. Compare, try, practice. So, today we addressed verb patterns, the vocabulary broadening, and pronunciation that you need to make sure to polish, maybe, or at least pay attention to. Now, speaking of practice, check out the description box to access the link with the activities on today's lesson. And if you'd like to see more about English, like the videos on verb patterns and the pronunciation of ed endings, well, please check out our profile. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.